Yeah, it's been a while. Let's learn how to make kebabs. Our ingredients today are, of course, breadcrumbs. I made this myself. You don't need to buy breadcrumbs anymore. And I'm going to add in the video for making breadcrumbs. Then, of course, we have uh, meat there. That's just 1/4 kilo, fresh coriander. We have onions, spices, but you can omit the spices. You don't have to have them. Then we have flour, of course, and some oil. Okay, so we need to fry our onions in a small pot. You add in, I think I put in too much oil, but it's okay. So you add in your onions. The thing is to caramelize the onions. Don't overcook them. Don't make them brown. Just caramelize them, and then we are going to add, I added my spices at this stage: salt, my spices, this whatever I said. You can omit your spices, but I put in my curry powder, of course, at this stage, and then some salt. I put in a little beef cube and my fresh coriander. You know that coriander really cooks fast, so the thing is just to make sure that it cooks a little bit, and then I'll put out the fire. We leave those, then we move on to the other stage of doing that. So mix them properly, the spices, onions, salt, of course. Put out the fire. We don't want those changing color. We still want our coriander green and fresh. Then we move on to the next part. You take your quarter. Can be quarter, it can be half, according to the needs of your family. Then, of course, we have our mixture there that we had already done. We have mince there. I've not been adding garlic to my food. I don't know why. As I get older, I feel like it's so overpowering. But I like onion, and I've used it. So we have our, I told you, take your breadcrumbs, mix there with that mixture. You can watch my video on making breadcrumbs. Then we have some little flour, wheat flour, of course. That one I'll use the last stage. So you continue molding. The we won't add any salt here. Remember, we already put salt in our onions and our coriander. So you beat one egg. Make sure that the eggshells don't get into your mixture there. You'll mix nicely. My hands are clean. I'd wash them, but if you're doing this for commercial purposes, perhaps you'd want to wear gloves, but I'm doing this for my house, so clean hands will do. Again, with this process, it's a bit messy with hands. It's good. I like to feel the consistency. Usually it's important. The consistency at this point is important. I think I fried my onions with too much oil. I think I mentioned that. Which was by mistake. So when you're doing yours, you can just check on how much oil you're using. Then I'll continue doing that. The egg is the binder here. So you continue doing that, continue adding your breadcrumbs until you have a firm consistency that you can mold with your hands. So not too soft, like now it's too soft. I still need to continue adding breadcrumbs. Continue adding your, and because we are making our own breadcrumbs at home, we are not worried that we'll use a whole kilogram of breadcrumbs and run out. So something like that. So you can see the mold is, it's not too soft, not too firm. Just I've wet my hands on the side at the top a little bit. So you'll mold your kebabs like that. So in my country, this is what we call kebabs. In other countries, what we call mishkaki are kebabs. So where you marinate pieces of meat and put them in skewers and cook them. So in my country, this is what is known as kebabs. So whatever other countries make, in my country is known as mishkaki or meat skewers. Okay, so I normally do that. The first person who taught me how to do this showed me how to do that, and I still follow. I don't know what the point of doing that is, but I've always followed through. Sometimes I wonder if it's so that the molds don't break in half in oil. I wouldn't know, but I've always followed through. So just do that. You cook them through and through. Some people prefer to cook them once they are doing the egg wash at the end, but I feel the eggs really absorb a lot of oil and it's not something that I'd want to do. So I just cook the molds thoroughly here. Remember that we had used raw meat, so it's imperative that you cook the molds properly. Remember how your molds look will if they keep breaking, then it means that either they were too stiff or they were too soft. So it will look like something like that. I know it doesn't look very nice, but well, the end product will look better. So we have our 2 eggs there. We want to do the final part of the kebabs. Our oil is still heating there. The same oil we used to cook the molds is what we are going to do the last process with. Remember, I had added salt in the onion and coriander mixture and spices, so I don't need to add salt at this stage. I feel like they were salty enough. They were well seasoned. Not salty enough, but they were well seasoned. So beat your eggs thoroughly like that. Take your molds that have already cooled. Make sure every corner, every part of that mold gets the egg wash. So roll that in. Like I'd say, this is a very hands-on task. So it's difficult for people, for me, for my family to do it with gloves. I prefer to do it with my hands because my hands are clean. So it will look something like that. So we want to flip this over very quickly so that remember that eggs really absorb a lot of oil, and because I'd already made the molds beforehand, so it prevents the last part, the kebab, from being too oily. So you do that, then you remove from the fire. Then we'll do a second or even a third, a fourth. So the more you roll in eggs, the bigger they look. So that's how you do your kebab. Such an easy process. You don't have to stress yourself and you come out with something really good like that. And I'd like to thank you for watching. Please make sure you subscribe and you comment something at the bottom. Watch my other videos. I love you and goodbye.